And welcome back in, Retriever fans. Another edition of the UMBC Baseball Weekly Report with head coach Liam Bowen, where we recap the week that was and look ahead to the week that will be for UMBC Baseball. And Coach, welcome back in.
Thanks, Dave.
So the Retrievers coming off a 1-4 week, losses to UMass, 2 against Albany, and most recently Maryland on Tuesday, picking up a win in that Albany series in the series finale on Sunday. Coach, let's just quick recap that game against UMass, a game we previewed last week.
Yeah, it seems like a long time ago, because we played so much since then. Basically, we just weren't very good the first 3 innings, not our sharpest on the mound. And then after that, I thought we kind of played our standard game. We were good out of the bullpen. I think Shane Gorman was really effective coming in, and we were able to kind of stay within striking distance, just never quite put together the big innings that they did. So just a game where, we just didn't get off to the start that we wanted, and we were always behind the 8 ball and never quite caught up. So a disappointing outing for sure. But, I think sometimes these midweek games can be a little bit topsy-turvy, and, that one just kind of cut against us. And, the best thing about it, I would say, is that we were able to get out twice during midweek and then prepare to start conference play, which was our aim when we made that schedule.
And then this past weekend, you opened conference play against Albany, a 1-2 weekend. You lost those first 2 games, pretty close games, 2-1 and then 11-9, before picking up a very good 10-9 win on Sunday, a very good college baseball game. Just kind of give a quick recap on that weekend.
First off, I thought it was a really good series, just in terms of being back and forth, in terms of being competitive. I thought both teams played pretty well. First, I think they're a good team. I think you have to give them credit for the team they've put together up there. It's a super veteran team, a ton of guys that, we've been competing against for years. We've been in college baseball for a long time, very well coached, very tough, very disciplined. They won their division last year, the other division in the America East. And I think I would say that they have a little bit better team this year. They've had a couple of additions that have helped them, and also returned just so many good veteran players. A little bit of the story of our season where, we just weren't able to get over the hump the first 2 days and win those close games. We've had so many close losses this year. I think it's over half of our losses so far this year are by 2 or fewer runs. I think I have that right. So obviously it kind of feels like we're a team that's knocking on the door, just not quite able to break it down yet. But the guys showed a ton of character on Sunday, able to come back and win a back and forth, kind of a typical college baseball Sunday game. And we were able to turn that one our way. So I think in sort of appraising our team, like it's I think a pretty good yardstick that we're very competitive with a very good America East team. And if we're able to take one more step, then I think some of the W's and L's can start going our way at a much higher clip. So definitely encouraged with the progress. I thought in particular, like the last 2 days, and then you haven't brought it up yet, but the midweek game we just had yesterday against Maryland, I thought we were really starting to swing the bat the way that I expected going into the year, which is awesome, really encouraging to see. It kind of feels like we've shown something in every phase of the game, just not able to put them all together and get them all going at the same time just yet. But there's more season in front of us than there is behind us. So we're excited to keep going and keep getting better.
And I'll come back to that Maryland game, but going back to Albany real quick,
Sure.
A couple of close games, but to win that one on Sunday really showed the team's kind of just the way they were able to battle back after losing 2 close games. Kind of talk about the way this team has improved, and you're seeing that, especially as we're hitting at the end of March here. What's been the improvement you've seen since the beginning of the season in February to now?
I think it's a lot more comfort in some of these pressure situations. We've just played so many close games. It's really an outlier season for the number of close games that we've played through 20 so far. Usually you get some that are kind of out of touch either way. Even last night, we ended up with a little bit of a lopsided final score, but that one was pretty tight late in the game. We made a little bit of a run, again, swing the bats a little bit better, which was great to see. I think, a guy that I'll bring up is Evan Selmer becoming a bigger part of our bullpen. Obviously, as a freshman, showing a ton of comfort in these tight games, and being a guy who runs towards that situation, that wants to be a part of that situation rather than kind of looking around and hoping somebody else will take care of it. So that's been awesome to see. I think he's been really good for us the past couple of weeks. Thought Joe Puchek was good out of the bullpen on Sunday, against Albany. So seeing those younger players start to embrace those tight games, those late game situations, and start to really revel in that challenge, I think that's awesome. And that's what you want. In the early part of the season, you want to see, particularly your young guys, but all your players do that, because everybody has a comfort zone, right? And we want our guys' comfort zone to be, the business end of the game in the America East when the outcome's in doubt. We want our guys to be comfortable there, and that's growing, and that's good to see.
And then you talked about at Maryland on Tuesday. Bats were swinging well. You had 7 runs. You've played them pretty well. The 2 times you played them, they've been nationally ranked both times. What does that do for the confidence of this team, knowing we can get some hits and we can hang in with some of these nationally ranked programs when it comes to now April and May, when you're getting really into the heart of your season?
Yeah, I think we've always been. I would say we've always had faith in our ability offensively. I mean, we know what we're capable of offensively. Coach Disher does a great job with that group. We've got that's an area of our team where we are a little bit older. We are a little bit more veteran, kind of in the top and middle of our order, as opposed to the mound where we are a little bit younger. So I think those guys always knew what they were capable of. It's just a matter of getting enough guys clicking, at the same time. Really, it's hard to get 9 guys going all at once. Hitting's hard enough. Getting 9 guys really swinging it hot is a real challenge. But we're up to the point where we have enough guys in the lineup on any given day who give us enough, tough at bats, give us enough, threat in terms of extra base hits or stolen bases or whatever the guy's skill set is, that I think we're gonna. I think our best days are ahead of us offensively. I thought last night, striking out twice, 2 called strike threes, against a top 25 team, like, to me, that's pretty good. That's a lot of balls in play. That's a lot of the offense giving yourself a chance, and we hit some balls hard too. So yeah, I've been pleased with the progress over the last week in the offense, and I think as we continue to get our roles settled out on the mound and continue to defend, like, I think we have a chance to put together a nice run here in conference, and that's our goal.
And then one of these guys that's been stepping up at the plate, a guy from last year, Ian Diaz, kind of started off the season a little bit slow, but he's really starting to get his footing back at the plate. I know we've talked about it over the summer, just the way he's progressed himself, not only on the field, but off the field as well. And you're seeing that work being put in. What have you seen out of him, getting back into what we've been used to seeing out of Ian Diaz?
Yeah, I think in our sport and in most sports, kind of the form a guy is in is temporary, but the quality of the player is permanent, and he's a quality player. So he's been working hard, every day, just to continue to kind of get settled into the season, get comfortable with his approach and his swing. It's the hardest thing to do in sports, in my opinion, to hit a baseball consistently. And there's going to be some natural fluctuations in that, but water always finds its level, as I like to say, and he's a high level guy. So it to me, he's hitting the 3-hole the entire year. Like, there's never been a moment where we thought, oh boy, like, what are we going to get out of Ian this season? We know what we're going to get out of him, but it's got to be over, a run of games. I think if you isolate any one game, then any hitter can look good or bad, for any single game or a week or whatever the case may be. So yeah, just a good hitter that's finding his level, and nothing that we didn't expect. We all knew it was going to happen.
And then going back to the pitching, you mentioned Evan Selmer this weekend really stepped up in that game on Sunday to get the save. Talk about the way these young guys out of the bullpen especially have been performing, and the growth that you've seen, not just from the young guys, but everybody in the pitching staff.
Yeah, it's been getting better. I think we were dealt a little bit of a tough blow early in the year with some guys that aren't available due to injury, some guys that had good falls or were guys that we thought maybe had some upside for us this spring. But the other guys have stepped up, and I will say the times that we have, been in the strike zone consistently with multiple pitches, we've been pretty good. Last year we really struggled to finish hitters. I thought just the inability to train the pitchers during that COVID year, I thought really hurt us. And this year, much more normal training year where we're able to do the things that I believe as the pitching coach help guys get ready for the season. You can see we're finishing more hitters. We're like our stuff is playing better. We're the batting average against is going down a little bit, and that's all great to see. We just got to be a little bit more consistent throwing strikes across the game and just develop maybe a couple more reliable strike throwers, particularly in our bullpen. And if we're able to do that, we're going to have a nice pitching staff the rest of the way. We're going to be very, very competitive. And combined with an improving offense, we think that's going to give us a chance in the America East. So I like the progress. We need to keep making progress. By no means do we have it licked. But I think on the mound, it's always just all about just getting enough guys that are really trustworthy. And I think we're closer than we were a month ago. And, we're excited to keep making progress in that area.
And then starting to wrap things up here, you go to Hartford this weekend for an America East series before coming home against Navy. Kind of look ahead to that Hartford series, a team that right now hasn't been playing as well, but a very talented team.
They have some guys that are holdovers from last year's team that are good players. Obviously, it's no secret Hartford's going to Division III, and that's impacted their roster. But they still have some guys that are talented guys who have had a good track record in the America East, and they're not going to roll over for anybody. I think the coaches up there in the time that I've been at UMBC have instilled a really competitive culture, and like we've had good series with them. They've gone each way. I think we went 3-1 against them last year, if I'm not wrong. There have been years where they've gotten the better of us, so it's always been competitive. I don't expect them to be any kind of pushover. Like they're going to be, regardless of what their record is coming in, it's an America East series, so they're going to be really competitive. They clipped, the team that represented the conference in the regionals last year. They clipped them a game on Sunday, and I think in this league anybody can beat anybody. So that combination of their culture and the returning players that have had success before, like it's going to be a challenge for us. We're going to have to play well.
And then just a quick look ahead. You got Navy on Tuesday back here at home.
Yeah, we played those guys early in the year. Didn't necessarily put our best foot forward on the mound, so we're eager to see them again and hopefully blow up the strike zone the way that I think we're capable of, and the way that we're going to need to, the way that we're going to have to kind of click into gear and be a little bit more consistent with, throughout the rest of the season. But just real quick with the, since I'm on the subject with the pitching, I think there is, even in last night's game and certainly over the weekend, there are some signs for optimism. Some guys who are starting to throw the ball better. Like, thought Reed Salata had his best appearance by far for us last night. Threw the ball really, really well, which was great to see. He had a slow start to the season, but seems to be rounding into form. Even a young guy like Nick Remy, is starting to find the zone more consistently. A guy with a lot of talent, who's been missing some bats, and is always a problem when he's in command of his stuff, and had a really clean inning last night. Moving Joe Puchek to the bullpen, he's done a really nice job. Shane Gorman's given us some length at times that we really needed. Owen Hamilton, has been a really tough matchup, really tough to hit. Adam Schwartz had a couple better outings, starting to make some progress. There are guys who, if they can keep making progress and continue to gain consistency, we can get some really helpful arms out of that group as a bridge to a guy like Selmer, who's really starting to take over that late inning role. So that's what we're working on creating, and 20 games in is enough time to make progress, but not enough time to finish the job. So we're excited to get, another crack at it this weekend to keep building that.
All right, Coach. Well, as always, thank you for taking the time, and good luck this weekend.
All right. Thanks, Dave. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Retrievers on the road this weekend at Hartford for a 3-game series before coming home, take on Navy on Tuesday. And as always, you can keep up to date with UMBC Baseball at umbcretrievers.com and the team's Twitter page at UMBC Baseball.